Okay, we're back live. I'm about to share this on YouTube. Not on YouTube, on Facebook and Twitter.
Check, check, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Facebook handheld, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Check, check, 1, 2. 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2. 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. 1, 2, check.
Okay, hopefully we're still going.
Check, check, 1, 2.
Anybody on
1, 2,
here?
check, check. 1,
Live.
2, 3.
Let me see what's going on. Here we go. Alright, this is a little tricky. We got a couple people on here.
Hey, Charlie,
there we go.
are we gonna test the other lab?
There we go. So I'm gonna give just a few minutes to hop on. So the chat is working pretty good. I wish there was a way to actually talk back and forth, but that's YouTube. So here's what I want to see. I want to see your guys' questions about the homework, and I know there's some glitches going on with the first video. So whatever it cut off, if you guys could let me know about that. I know you said 23 minutes. What was it what we were talking about? Obviously, compression and stuff. Joni's on, Kara's on. I got a couple more people I can't see until you actually comment. So let me know you're here in the comment section. Can someone look up in the message for me Psalms 34:9?
Are you telling them or me?
You. Oh, sorry, you guys. One of you guys local here.
Because I was pulling up.
What up? Not you guys. Not my class. My coworkers. So this is Danny. Danny, say hi to the
Hi.
class. And this is Charlie. He's running monitors. Danny's an A2 with me. Daniel is here with you. Okay, cool. Joni is also here. Wait. Okay. Aaron is here. Cool.
How big is your class?
14 people. Right now I have 5 plus a tag team watch going on. So now 7 people. So questions over the homework, just start sending them in. This is mainly going to be feedback, and we'll go over the content again. Allison's on here. Unfortunately, so Curtis was on the first one. Curtis, are you out there now?
Howdy.
I started one and then I tried to change apps, and apparently it stops the live stream if you exit the app. So we are in between a rehearsal and a service. Oh, hey, there's Curtis. There you go. Yeah, sorry guys. Periscope. I ditched the Periscope idea, which we weren't starting any at all until 4:15, anyways. I ditched the Periscope idea because it's only available for a day after the original shoot. So I figured this is going to be archived permanently. So we're going to try that route.
Mostly either there at the front of the stage, like on the steps. They actually talk down there from the bottom. Someone share where are you guys at as far as understanding compressors? How did the videos help you guys or not, or just confuse you? Doing pretty good, Curtis. Thanks for asking. Good. We're walking some laws, making sure there's no dropouts in the wireless systems right now. And come out here. We got quite a few people.
Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check, check. I'm walking the floor. 1, 2, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check.
The videos helped. That's awesome.
1, 2, check, check, 1, 2.
Yeah, so my first video, I got a phone call during the middle of it. I think that's what killed the rest of the stream. So we'll pick up Brianna, you're saying it cut off after 23 minutes. What were we talking about specifically? And I'll try to pick up from there.
What was that, Rob?
Yeah, I feel like the last video really was a good example. That not the stream of my earlier lecture, but
Brother
the
Copeland's handheld
video
for TV.
link
Is it
from
this one
somebody
here?
else.
Here?
I feel like that video really showed you and let you hear what compression is doing.
Hey, hey.
So,
Check.
someone,
Check, 1, 2, KC.
let's see who else is
Hey.
on here.
Yeah, this is for seeing.
I'm gonna see. Who else is not? Lindsay. Can someone have Lindsay's number? See if she's on here. Or I saw that she started following me on Periscope, so I'm hoping she's not doing the same thing as Allison. And then who else do we need to have on here? Working my way through the class. Jesse and Josh Sherman. The ratio. Okay. So a few more things to get through. That's early. Okay. So the ratio, you guys understand, the ratio is only affecting what is above the threshold. So any volume that gets above the threshold gets pushed back, gets constrained. It still gets louder than the threshold, but it's reduced as to how much louder it gets by a fraction that's equal to the ratio. Okay. Okay, so Allison, Lindsay told you, so she should be on here, hopefully. Yeah, guys, let's see. I'm walking my way visually through. Is Terry on here? Brianna's on here. Allison's on here. Christy. Is Christy on? Terry is with you, Brianna? Or
is your
are you
wife
saying
really
she's someone
bike?
else? We gotta figure out where she's at. Joni is on. Who else is on the front row?
Yeah, she doesn't.
We got Curtis and Aaron.
She doesn't.
Lindsay's on. She's here. Okay. I had to increase the brightness.
Awesome. Oh, really? Yeah.
But yeah, she doesn't.
Little Lefty, I'm here.
Oh no.
Finally.
Yeah, she doesn't have an accident.
Little Lefty, who is
really?
this?
Went away and forth.
The mustache and glasses is throwing me off. Is that Terry?
So she lost a bit.
Oh, cool.
Where's that is an awesome profile picture. Yeah, Daniel's with Joni. Okay, so someone, hey, Aaron, you can start us off. Can you give me a definition for threshold in your own words? And then while we're at it, Joni, can you give me your own definition of, and Daniel, of ratio? Okay, and then there's Jessica. Hey Jessica, welcome. And then Jessica, while you're on, can you describe for me attack and how attack influences the compression and how that works? So if you, and then Curtis, if you can describe from the videos what happens if your attack is too slow versus when it's too fast. What kind of effect you can get or consequences that has. So I know this is on a bit of a delay. So we got I think we got everyone except Jesse and Sherman. So I'm going to go back over. I'm going to look a little bit at ratio. I can't really demonstrate anymore. We're still doing some work. I'm frozen. Oh no. Am I unfrozen now, hopefully? So ratio visually, this is ratio. How much it fights back against how loud the signal is getting, okay? So the stronger the ratio, the bigger the number, the less dynamic range you're gonna have above the threshold, okay? Conversely, with a gate, if the gate has a ratio option, okay, Aaron's watching with you now, Lindsay, cool. If the gate has a ratio option, it's actually more of an expander, okay? And it would, let's see here, I'm gonna, maybe, okay, he's not using that, so I can switch it. It would look like this, where it's actually changing the angle underneath, and if it gets below a certain volume, okay. Jessica, from what you understand from the video, attack is when the compression starts. It determines how fast it starts, I guess. Yes, so compression is like the reaction time to the volume suddenly getting louder than you want it to be. And so you can have it too fast or too slow. If you set it really, really quick, what tends to happen is it tends to sound like you lose higher frequencies. It will get darker because a lot of the first sounds you hear are very high and they're turned down. Compression in general tends to affect
3839, true.
compression in general tends to affect the high frequencies more and will darken the tone. And so a lot of times there's two options. Some compressors have built in the ability to expand or not compress as hard or allow to back through higher frequencies, and you can set how high or how low those frequencies are. Like I can choose to let 5K and up or 2K and up through the compressor without being compressed at all, or in a lesser ratio. The other thing is you can EQ after the compressor to try to add back in some of that high end. All right, let's see. Lindsay and Aaron, you're watching. What is the release? How does the release service compression and dynamic processors, and what is a danger of a release time being off? Something I said in the earlier video, I'm not seeing any more chat going on. Is everything still okay out there? Something I said in the earlier video today that didn't make it into the archive is with attack and release, a default place to start is that you set your release at 10 times the speed of your attack. So if your attack is at 30 milliseconds, you set the release at 300 milliseconds, and that should work for most things, and then you can tweak it from there. Alright, I'm starting to worry that we're dropped out. I'm going to keep going though. The gate and expanders work the exact opposite. The primary use of a gate or an expander in a live settings specifically is for drums, specifically like toms. The tom mics are out in the open and picking up everything, and so a lot of times you put a gate on the tom mics, on the tom drums, so that you can...
Jordan, you have a minute?
Yeah.
For the... I'm sorry, are you busy?
I'm teaching a class, but go for it.
Okay, real quick. So, the tracks, the channels 32 and 34 from front of house,
Not
34 and
33.
35, came back to 38 and 39. It says for mix only. The television truck is not getting it on 43 and 44.
it went. I don't think 43, 44 is 36, 37. So they should just be able to listen to 36, 37 and get it instead. You have 4 channels, and the duplicate is actually backwards. I thought you were sending down 43, 44, and then returning back to you higher up, and you actually set it up the other way around. So if they see it on one end or the other, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Sorry guys, we have a routing problem. Here we go. I'm here now. Caitlin. Oh, Caitlin, yeah. Welcome to class. Okay. Okay, so someone explained to me the use of, on that third video that was assigned before class today, that third video showed some throbbing from a misassigned release. Yes. Okay, yeah, so we're jumping back in. Yeah, so I just saw Lindsay's comment, releases the time it takes for the compressor to disengage. Yes, once the signal drops below a threshold, or the threshold you're going for, that you have it set at, or you have the compressor set at, the release is how much longer the compressor continues to push down on the signal. The benefit of this is you can allow it to gradually, actually can help the taper of a signal falling off, like a voice trailing off. You can actually use that to kind of open up as it decreases and allow it to come back through. A really fast, or a release that's too slow will get what the third video was talking about the throbbing, where the snare or the drum hits and the compressor clamps down and then slowly opens back up while there's still a tone being generated, or maybe it was a vocal, actually not a drum, a vocal, and then all of a sudden, like, it seemed like that sound got bigger because it was being extra compressed, even at a lower volume from the initial attack, and then it was getting let back through. So you really need to listen for the attack and for the release is really judged. You're trying to set those to emulate and be matched up with how fast of an attack and how fast of a release or a decay the instrument itself has. So a drum is going to have a faster, in general, can have a faster and attack and release than a vocal will, because the drum sound is so short-lived. It's just bang, and it's immediately big, and it's almost immediately dies out, especially like a kick or a snare. A vocal can have a much slower attack and release because the voice naturally kind of swells in, and then we have the ability to sustain and then ability to kind of pull off. Now we can be really short and staccato if we want to, but in general we sing and we talk with a fairly smooth tone, and even at the micro level, our voices, even if we're trying to be quick, there's still a softer attack than, say, with a drum or a really aggressive acoustic guitar strum. So I hope, is there any questions you guys have? Oh, there's Jesse's finally able to chat. Cool. Okay. All right. Yeah, throw some stuff back at me. What do you guys not sure you understand, or do you feel like, I was trying to find a way to actually give you guys like a GarageBand file and be able to have you play around and try to use compression live. If you were in a situation where you needed to use a compressor, do you feel like you could give it a shot? Okay, there you are, Jesse. You've been watching this whole time. Cool. yeah, who feels, is there anyone that still is unsure about how they could use a compressor in their church setting? Like if you were a worship pastor and having a rehearsal and your audio guy couldn't show up for your midweek rehearsal. Compression is a huge part of actually getting a good sound for your instruments, particularly on vocals, because vocals are so dynamic. They're so loud and then so quiet. If you remember our last lecture, we were talking about, and 2 lectures ago, we were talking about the noise floor, how when the signal is so quiet that it's not any louder than the natural hiss or noise in the sound system, and we need to keep our signal above that. But then if we give it too much power in our signal, we get clipping, we get distortion, we get too loud for the system to handle. Caitlin, great question. Would the compressor be on a regular soundboard like we have been using in class? I will get to that in just a second. Let me finish this thought and then I'll answer that. So the compression is helpful. A compressor is helpful on every channel, honestly, in order to allow us to have a louder sound when the vocalist or the instrument is playing more softly. But then when they get really loud, they aren't getting so loud that they start clipping. We're actually restricting the dynamic range that the instrument or the vocal is playing in. Okay, cool. Okay, so to answer Jesse's question, on an analog board, most analog boards do not have compressors built into them. What they have is there are extra 1/4 inch connections on every channel strip for most medium to large size and expensive boards, like the blue Midas Venice 32 board that I had at last class. That one had extra 1/4 inch plugs. One of those is going to be labeled an insert connection. It might not sound, Jesse, I'm reading your comment, it might not sound great, but I think I am way more likely to make something benefit rather than absolutely no idea what I'm doing to the extent that I would probably make it a lot. Yeah, that's okay, so we're on the right track. So back to an analog soundboard. They don't have compressors built in most of the time, and you really need a compressor for each individual instrument, and you don't probably want to be doing compression on a whole bunch of instruments grouped together. Like you would not just put a compressor on a group. You would want to put compressors on each individual channel. And so we use the insert connection. We use the insert plug on the back of the soundboard right next to the input.
Is the prompter patched?
Prompter patch, Jordan?
It should be. The prompter should be patched. Yeah. There it is.
Playing something on the prompter.
And so that insert connection is going to be a 1/4 inch connection, like a guitar cable. Oh, I had a cable just like this laying around here somewhere. But it's going to actually look like a big headphone connection. So this is, here's a new term we're going to have to learn today. This is a 1/4 inch, but it is, sorry guys, doing 2 things at once. There we go. This is called a TS connection, okay, a tip sleeve, all right? Now, this is an unbalanced mono cable, okay? Unbalanced meaning that it's not shielded, tone tends to fall off fairly quick. You can't travel long distances with it, okay? Right here, we have, this is an 1/8 inch, but you'll also see it as 1/4 inches look the same way. This is a tip ring sleeve. You see how there's 3 different pieces of metal as opposed to on this other cable, you only have tip sleeve. You see that? This little extra ring can either be used with headphones to have left and right unbalanced signal for headphones, okay? That is tip ring sleeve, so it's still a 1/4 inch. These are still 1/4 inches. I had to hold up an 1/8 inch example. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So to prove my point, where did it go? Headphones. Here it is. Okay, this is a 1/4 inch TRS, tip ring sleeve. It's still a 1/4 inch. That's the size of the connection, but this is the type of connection. So this has 3 connectors, just like an XLR cable. But if it's for headphones, we're using it for the left channel, the right channel, and the sleeve. For an insert cable, we're actually using it as this is the send. So this would carry the signal from the soundboard to the compressor. We would then use and it would be called an outboard compressor. It's an extra piece of gear that is receiving the signal from the soundboard for an analog soundboard. Okay. Then we do the compression that we want. It works the exact same way. Okay, it's going to have the same op controls, and then coming back out of the compressor, the signal would travel back down an internal wire in the cable that's connected to the ring. Okay, and the signal then returns to the soundboard through this ring connection, and then the sleeve is again used as a ground and shield. It's just isolating the signal from outside. It's just radio frequencies. So on the end of the soundboard, it's one connection that has this send and return, or the output and the input for the soundboard. But at the compressor equipment, it's going to actually normally be 2 connections, like 2 XLRs or 2
What's our problem?
TS 1/4 inches. So there would be 2 connections
This is not a special seat or anything, right?
at the.
I get you.
Well, it is once someone's there, but right now, no. Would be 2 TS 1/4 inches or 2 XLRs that are functioning the same way at the input and output of the outboard compressor. So that's how we use compressors on analog boards. Digital boards have enough technology in them that we just have them built in.
Unexpected life.
The difference between that and a 1/4 inch. So, Joni, I hope I answered your question that it is a 1/4 inch cable. The TRS, it is a type of 1/4 inch cable. Curtis, Allison missed everything. Okay, so I was answering the question about how do we use compressors on analog board when the analog boards don't have compressors built in, and we introduced a new connector. So this is still a 1/4 inch cable. I'm going to do a quick review. This is a 1/4 inch cable. This is called a tip sleeve cable. Who can tell me what the other type is? Someone text in. What is this called? Okay, this is called a tip ring sleeve, and we use it for headphones for a left channel and a right channel to have 2 different audio signals go into one ear and the other. But on an insert cable, which plugs into the back of a soundboard, on each channel we can use this on. This would be this sending signal to the compressor. Yes, Kara, thank you. TRS. And then, yeah, there's a huge delay, guys. So,
Of course, you.
and then, yeah, good. Yes, Terry. TR, yeah. And then the ring is going to have the signal returning. So ring return, or if on headphones, ring right, the right ear. The return signal, the compressed signal coming back from the compressor. And then the sleeve is always used as a ground and or shield. Okay, so that is a big piece of how compressors work. I want to, in the future classes, be able to let you all play with some compression. Okay. Time is up on class time, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Next week, I'm hoping we'll be able to be in the auditorium and actually hear reverb and echo and compression and different effects on vocals and other instruments through the monitor board. I'm still waiting for final word on that. But that will be what we'll be looking over next week is reverb and echo. So that will be the homework assignment for reading. I'm working on the questions still as well. So look for that to be posted on Blackboard. Any final questions? I should have asked that earlier. Any final questions? Let me pull out the book and look at what sections those are real quick. I'm drawing a blank right now. There it is. While we're waiting on final questions. So we're still in the same chapter. I believe it's chapter 8. So delay / echo and reverb units will be the section I want you to read. And
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to remember if I wanted you to read this or not.
Prompter tracks are really
That's
hot
it.
for Ralph. Is that a master? Or
I can turn them down.
Jordan's going full blast on the Mac, but
Yeah.
we can pump it down about 3/4.
What do we need to do if the other video only lets you watch part of it? Since you can only watch part of it, I just answer the questions that you can from it.
Yeah, if you need
Most
us to
of
turn
it was
down,
just
we can
simply to try
manually on the
to
Mac.
make sure you guys watched what you
For
could.
sure.
So we'll keep talking about attack and release. And we'll go from there. But most of what I talked about was
let me
probably
ask
just
Chewy
my
to
own
verify.
words of redescribing, and I'm not even sure if it worked. Like I tried to demonstrate a little, but I'm not sure how well it translated. So answer the questions that you can from what you can watch, and then I'll see if I can update that at all. But so that's it. If that's it, read the section just about delay and reverb, and then you're looking for questions, and I'm going to find some more YouTube videos for y'all to watch that I'll post tonight or tomorrow. Alright? Thank you all. Have a good evening. Talk to you later.